Today's episode is brought to you by Manscaped, an international brand dedicated to men's grooming products. The Performance Package 4.0 comes with the lawnmower trimmer with handy charging base, the Crop Preserver, an anti-chafing deodorant with pH control, and the Crop Reviver, a refreshing aloe-based spray for those sensitive areas. Also included is the Weed Whacker, a well-made rechargeable nose and ear trimmer. Plus, if you're worried, don't be, because there's handy instructions even for the novice groomer. Extra accessories are included, the perfect travel set for home or on the go. And did I mention that the shaver is waterproof? That's right, you can use it in the shower, you can get it wet, you can rinse it off, don't even worry about it. As a special bonus, you get 2 free gifts with purchase: the Shed travel bag to store it all in, and a pair of anti-chafing boxer briefs in your size. Simply head to the website and enter code CURIOSITY. Get all this plus 20% off your purchase, plus free international shipping. Go ahead and treat yourself. And now, back to the show. Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. I just got back from an estate where I purchased a box that used to belong to a watchmaker. It's packed full of watches from what I can tell. I've not gone through it. I made a pretty strong offer. I gave them $1,000 for it. But I'm hoping that there's at very least quantity, even if not quality. So we're going to dig through the box and hope that it's worth the money that I spent. So without further ado, let's go digging. Okay, this is the box. Reason why I paid so much is I could see in this one folder is full of fountain pens. And I figured, well, there's got to be close to $1,000 just in fountain pens. I think that's pocket watch fobs. So I think out of the 2 folders right off the top there, I should be able to get my money back if I work really hard and if they're not in too bad shape. I have no idea, like it's taped shut. So I'm going to start, I guess, with getting the binders out of the way. Oof, it's got some weight to it. Yeah, so obviously this is somebody's pocket fob collection. Now, pocket fobs are intended, that's from 1903 or 903. It's in French. Oh, cool. It's got a little, I guess it's a typewriter award. That's kind of neat. Anyway, these are meant to go on the end of a pocket watch. So you attach this end to your pocket watch. That end might hang out of your pocket or be close to the surface. You can just pull out of your pocket really quick and easy. There are people who collect these things, and they usually go for, like, you know, I'd say $10 and up. You get some that have brand names on them, and they can be, you know, $30, $40 or so to the right person, sometimes more. Look, he paid $85 for that one. BRT fob. So there definitely was some money invested in this collection. I'm gonna have to take them all out of this binder. That taping your collectibles to a piece of cardboard isn't generally the best way. Oh, look, there's a Harley Davidson motorcycle. Somebody would want that. That's a good one. So we're gonna flip through, get an idea about what else is in here. Sometimes these are gold as well. That one I don't think is. Watch fob, Centennial, Cyrus Hall McCormick. Oh, McCormick Deering. I've seen that one before. These are sort of a little bit older, more Victorian era. Looks like he has the older stuff kind of at the back. There's just your standard sort of watch chains. So yeah, I mean, if you add up each page, let's say $100 a page, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is about $1,000 retail worth of stuff. It's not gonna happen overnight, but that's why I kind of paid the bucks on this, because I figured there was enough volume there. Is there a watch inside? Oh, just the watch box. An old Accutron watch box. Maybe I'll find the watch inside here. Obviously this they wanted to keep somewhat safe and taped up. And flip around. What do we have here? This is the fountain pens. Now, okay, some of these are just regular pens. Some are going to be a little bit better than others. there are sheets and sheets and sheets full of fountain pens. It's generally the nicer sort of swirl plastic. He only paid $1 for that one. Must have bought them at garage sales and stuff. I don't see any Mont Blancs or anything like that, but there are a number of nice old, looks like that's a Universal, Waterman. There are lots of pen collectors out there, so finding a batch like this of fountain pens is kind of nice. And, you know, a pen like that, you probably get, you know, $20, $30 for if it's in decent shape. It's been stuck in there forever, so probably another few $100s worth of stuff here. So I'm not going to talk about the money anymore because I feel like I've made my money back that I spent just off of these 2 binders here. But I am interested to see that one's got a big chunk missing out of it. I'll have to really check the condition on these. Fountain pens, there are people who restore them. There are people who put them, you know, back in working condition, and collecting fountain pens is a pretty big hobby. What they'll do is they'll actually take these old plastic bodies of the pens and they'll polish them right up like brand new again, get all little scuffs and marks out of there and make it look just like perfect. And of course use them. They're lovely to write with. And there are a number of collectors that are into these things, so I should be just fine. But what you want to look for, if you get the higher end pens, that's where the true value is at. You know, like a Mont Blanc or something like that, you know, they have a little white star on the top. Those could be hundreds or even thousands of dollars. I came across a batch of pens like this last year, and there was a few in there that were 1920s and 30s Mont Blancs. Really, really interesting pieces. All right. We'll set that aside. Oh, it looks like some of the pens must have fallen out. Try to get some of these pens scooped up and out of the way. So you can fit an awful lot of stuff inside a little box like this. Already a nice little extra batch of pens there. I'll have to take some time to clean these up and get the old yard sale prices and stuff off of them, but that's pretty neat. So I'll take the big obvious thing out here. That's a Spartus clock. So this is it's not like a Kit Kat clock, but it would have had a tail as a pendulum that went back and forth. 1950s kind of era, and I think the eyes probably go back and forth too when you plug it in. Kind of a fun little 50s piece of kitsch. But let's go through some of these little boxes. And this whole box is full of tiny little boxes. So I just grabbed the first one off the top there. And it's full of pocket watches. Silver cased. Not in the best condition, but we've got a whole case full of them. And it's okay, even if some of these need to be fixed or repaired. Oh, that would have been a good one. That's your 8-day with the visible mainspring. Elgin. Mentor. Okay. So, first tin, that's going to be an earlier, that's like an 1800s key wind pocket watch. Same with this. You have to open the back on them and then you set it with a key. Many of these are solid silver. So I'll have to find my watch keys after I'm done unpacking because I'm in the midst of moving right now and all my watch stuff is all packed away. Watch cases and stuff. So it looks like sort of a mixed bag of Project and other watches in that one. But there is some silver cases and things like that. Pretty cool. Let's see, box number 2 is more watches. These are in, some of them are in bags. Maybe this is the better stuff. It feels like it's winding. Yep, it's working. So go to working pocket watch, worth a couple $100. I'm guessing this box looks like it's the slightly better stuff. I wonder what watch this is. It's all wrapped up in paper. Oh, there's a Hamilton. Let's see. Hamilton is a premier brand for pocket watches. If you ever find a Hamilton watch, they were definitely one of the better made watches. Railway grade. Don't see it going yet. Okay, there it goes. And I've taken the back off too. You can actually see how nice that movement is. Hamilton Watch Company, 21 jewel, 5 position. This would be considered like a railway grade watch. And a railway grade watch is much more valuable, much more desirable. I mean, just look how nice that movement is. And working condition, so that's a big bonus. I'm hoping that all these watches in this special little box here are working. Who knows, we still have a whole box to go. So I'm gonna separate the good stuff and put it aside. That's a gold-filled case, not solid gold, but heavy gold plating. I'm gonna piece it back together and I'm gonna create a special pile for my good stuff. Okay, so a number of good working watches came out of that little box. This looks fancy, but it's not. That's just like a novelty watch, probably from the 50s or 60s. Hunter case, but I didn't take the cloth off of this. It's what's underneath. Oh, well, lucky me. This is a men's Tudor wristwatch, 34 millimeter case. It's an auto oyster date. The nice thing about Tudor watches is they are made by Rolex. So that is a Rolex. That is, well, that's like the icing on the cake. No wonder it was all wrapped up so special like that. And that's not even a fancy band whatsoever. That is just your generic sort of flex band. That would be fantastic with a nice strap on it. And is it working? I'm just gonna give it a little shake to see if I can get the rotor working on it. I might have to give it a bit of a whine to get it started. Well, if it works, that'll be a big bonus. And there it goes. Working. Whether it's keeping time or not, it's another story, but not so shabby finding a Rolex in a box of, you know, what looks like junk. Woohoo! All right, I'm happy about that because I am a watch guy. I'm wearing an Omega right now. I am a watch guy. So for me, this is actually, I am having actual legitimate Alex fun right now going through this. This is good times for me. Okay, we got another little box here, and what's inside? More watches. Don't know if I'll be able to surpass that Rolex find. Oh, look, there's jewelry. Costume jewelry mixed in here. Some kind of funky watch strap. Olympic. Sometimes these little watches are actually Rolexes too, but Rolex didn't always use their brand name on their watches. That's not one. The way to tell is if it has a screw down crown on the side. Oftentimes it'll have the Rolex emblem on it, on just the crown, but it might say things like, you know, oyster, or sometimes they have like, you know, tiger, or I don't know, just all sorts of different names that they used on their watches back then. That's a terrible example. These are just Timex. Timex are not really worth a whole lot, but they're a good functioning watch. Okay, not too much out of that bin. I'm already happy. I mean, heck, I found a Rolex. I'm not going to be complaining a whole lot here. Whatever I have here, it's just kind of fun. Oh, these are wrapped up in plastic. Oh, there's a nice Bulova Accutron with the tags on it. Look, it was $175 when it was new. I'm gonna guess that this probably is a battery operated watch. Maybe not. That's a nice dive watch actually, and it's new old stock. I wonder if it's probably from one of these boxes. Yeah, that's in perfect condition. Look at that. It's in perfect shape. Now the question will be, does it work? I'll have to see if I can get it working, but that is in pristine condition. Like, this is what they would call new old stock. And look, I even have a matching Accutron box to put it in. I don't know that that's the box that it came in, but that's an Accutron box and that's an Accutron. So we'll put those two together. Let's see what else is in here. Looks like Bulova Accutron. These are all Bulova Accutrons. So somebody definitely liked their Bulova Accutrons. That's a very funky 1970s looking watch right there. Look at this thing. Gold and black. All the bling you can handle. very like futuristic looking. Price tag's still on the back. Some of these are brand new, never worn. Well, that's cool. Okay, that'll go over in the good pile. And another box, and another box, and another box, and another box, and they're marked wristwatches and stuff. I am feeling pretty optimistic about this buy. Okay, that one is a Timex. These are just watch dials. Let's see, Timex. Timex is like, they work fine. It's just they're nothing fancy. Like they're just your generic sort of watch. You have to be careful looking even through the faces because even like a high-end watch face can be worth quite a bit of money to the right person. And there are lots of those right people out there. Lots of people out there who buy, collect, and repair watches. Okay, this might just be that looks like it's mostly parts and stuff in here. You know, kind of funky looking chronograph, but this is a cheap chronograph. I've had these before. They're like no jewel movement. Okay. So nothing super crazy in that box. That's okay. Put that back in for now. I'll end up sorting through all this later on when I've got a little bit more time. I'm actually running out of room. Grab this big box off the bottom. Ooh. Running out of space up here. Oh, here's more bag stuff. Lots of bag pocket watches. Let's hope that we got, yeah, it's a nice silver case pocket watch. Let's see. English sterling silver chain drive with key, chain, and box. Must have bought it in an auction. Look, lot 53. That's a nice old English watch, that is. Crikey, that's a nice old watch, that is. Why am I talking weird? Okay. Look, Brandon, Manitoba is where that jewelry store was. Just outside of Winnipeg. And look, watches upon watches upon watches. These are all silver. These are all silver cased pocket watches. Some big ones in here too. Holy cow. Look at this. These are all look to be sterling silver key wind 1800s watches. That's how this is all separated. Now, that doesn't mean they're worth really much more. In fact, the Hamilton is probably the best watch so far, that 21 jewel. But these are all, you know, all really nice silver. Let's take one out of the bag and see what kind of shape these things are in. Let's just take that out. So it needs a bit of a polish. Let's see. The Express something line. Oh, the Express engine line. Sheffield. Well, that might have been a railway watch, an early railway watch. I'll have to look and see. Maybe I lied. Maybe some of these are really old railway watches from like the 1800s. Okay. That whole box is good. That whole box. Let's see. Otto's New Automobile Guide. And what year is this from? 1939. I guess if you want to learn to fix your car, for people who like to fix things, watches apparently, pens, be a handy thing to have around just in case you ever wind up with a old car, as I often do. Okay, here's another little box. Oh, there we go. Another Bulova. Looks like the tag's in there. Bulova Accutron Astronaut Mark II. That's a pretty heavy-duty looking watch. Actually, that would have been a pretty high-end Bulova back in the day. And even now, still very collectible. Again, a lot of this stuff's going to hinge on whether it's working or not, or whether I got to take it in and get it fixed. That's a railway watch. That's an Accutron Railway Special. Those are pretty collectible. There's another Accutron Railway Special. It says railroad approved right on it. That's when they went out of pocket watches. Look, another one. These are all railway watches. Needs battery. That's okay. Another railway watch. When they stopped using pocket watches, they went to wristwatches. They had to have a very accurate wristwatch for the engineers and people that worked on the line, and they replaced them with those. And Bulova was one that was approved for use. Another Accutron. The Bulova, what I'm looking for, there's one about this age, and it's the Bulova Space View, where it's kind of green and you can see the guts of it. It's pretty collectible. I was kind of hoping there was one in there, but it was an old nickel. Queen's got a ponytail. It's got to be from the 60s. 1962. Well, this is... Oh, look, there's another layer. Hang on. Bulovas. Okay, this is almost all Bulova. But look at all the railway watches. Okay. Oh, my goodness. There's a big box. Okay, I'm going to have to move some stuff around because I am severely running out of space on top of this table here. Melissa's going to come home and be like, we're supposed to be packing. Not putting stuff out, but look, I'm having fun, right? Okay, it's a mantle off a lantern. Don't know why that's in there. More watch heads. Older battery operated watch definitely aren't worth as much as mechanical, but if I can find some batteries and get some of these working, there's some pretty funky looking watches in here. Timexes. That's a bag of Timex. At least there seems to be some organization here. Well, this one says it's got Waltham Bulova. Solar could be made by Rolex. Solar was a brand of department store watch from Eaton's department store. And some of them were actually Rolex movements. Oh. Whoa. Well, odds are this is going to be fake. I can't imagine somebody would have an actual Rolex just sitting randomly inside of a bag like that. But only way to really tell is to take the back off and see what the movement looks like. I'm going to see, it should be an automatic. So if it was a real Rolex, it should have started moving. I'll see if it has a wind down crown. I'm not getting excited yet because most of these I find are fake. Okay, with certainty, this one is a fake. It does not have a screw down crown. It feels very light and cheap. I probably don't even have to take the back off to see. And it's also not actually an automatic. It's likely just a cheap battery operated watch. So, you know, the type you'd buy off the streets of New York or something like that back in the 80s. Looks cool though. Had my heart beating for a bit. That Tudor is real though. Tudor was Canadian Rolex, so there weren't a lot of people faking those. This is a Solar. Okay, interesting. Remember how I said Solar were made by Rolex? See, if you look at the crown, Rolex crown, this is in fact a Rolex that's been branded as a Solar watch. That's an oyster case. Looks to be gold fill. Possibly gold. No, gold fill. And it says right on the back by Rolex. See? That's why you got to know your watches, because you probably would have looked at this and gone, Solar, what the heck is that? And walked right past it. But really, it's a Rolex. So I've got 2 authentic Rolexes out of this deal so far. Where's the other one? It's around here somewhere. Didn't go far. Anyway, 2 of them so far. And I haven't even gotten through the rest of this box yet. Sometimes you just have a gut feeling to take a bracelet for Rolex. You have a gut feeling to take a risk on something like this. And it was not much of a risk, apparently. Okay, this one says it's a bracelet for a Rolex. So with any luck, it will be a real bracelet, because even a real vintage Rolex bracelet could be worth a bunch. Nope. That is not that's just an old flex bracelet. That's not a Rolex bracelet. Oh well. Another Accutron. Seiko 5. Those are a decent watch. Automatic. And a Waltham Quartz. Okay. Well, considering that was just the first bag and I got a real Rolex out of it already, pretty happy. Okay. Hope you guys don't mind going through this stuff with me. Like I'm forgetting that I'm filming because I am actually having a lot of fun going through this. This sort of little stuff makes me super happy to go through. Yeah, that's just watch bits. I mean, I'm sure some of them are going to be fairly important. Oh, look at this. I don't know what brand it is, Timex, but that is a funky looking little watch. That's a lady's watch, a big lady's watch. That's pretty cool. Neat design. Okay, maybe what I'll do. Oh, this is a trench watch. This is a World War I trench wristwatch that the soldiers would have worn. I'll show you how you can kind of tell. Basically, it looks like a pocket watch. Has these very thin pins on the top and bottom. And this would have been like a military watch. One of the first wristwatches you could really have or own. Have no idea if it's working. And it's working. So that's actually kind of a cool piece. That's a bit of military history right there. My goodness. Gladstone has a Rolex-y kind of look about it. I mean, Rolexes are a decent watch. They're not necessarily the best. I get myself in trouble over saying that. Oh, here's a good one. This is a what they call a moon phase. This is actually a really good watch. If it's working, it's a very valuable watch. Yep, it's working. See if I can check the brand name on it. So it's Solar, the same brand, sold through the Eaton's department store. And again, Solar used high-end watches for their department store. Eaton's was kind of a high-end department store. So I doubt whether that's likely not a Rolex, but it's made by somebody. Solar is just the brand name for the department store. The real name of the maker is On the Movement. I'm going to set that over by the Rolexes because honestly, that's as good as finding a Rolex, to be honest. That one's missing its Asterex. Some of these are missing their crystals, so I got to be careful with them. Finding all kinds of good stuff. Oh, look, there's another Tudor. Another Rolex. Okay, this is probably one of the better watch buys. There's a nice little look, and it's ticking already. A nice little diver watch. There's another World War I trench watch. And some of these can actually be high-end makes. They can be made by, you know, the Rolex's Omega sort of brand. So I'm gonna have to pop that one open and see what the maker name is. But now I'm really curious to know what else is in here, because I'm finding really, really good stuff. Bell official ball. A ball automatic. Okay, we'll set that one aside. I have a feeling that might be a better one. What's this? Timex? Okay. Nice little Elgin. Fancy dial. There's a lot of good stuff in here. I'm just going to kind of skim the surface on this right now and then come back and go through it more thoroughly. And what I'll do is I'll actually do a little video after I've got some of these watches cleaned up and show you how good they can look once they've all been cleaned up. That'd be a perfect example of something that would probably polish up nicely. So I'll do a follow-up video to this and show you the befores and afters of some of these things, and just show you how nice they can look. But so far, I have to tell you, I'm pretty darn happy with my purchase. I was sincerely not expecting there to be a Rolex in with this batch of stuff. I thought these were mostly just parts watches. Actually, that's how they were kind of sold to me, as being like as is. Genova, 17 jewel. Look at that, it's had some water or corrosion on it. It's probably not gonna be much good. Timex. I'm trying to figure out, there seems to be no rhyme or reason how things are put in here. Like you have, you know, somewhat decent watches mixed amongst, frankly, kind of garbagey watches. But I'm gonna have to really dump these out and have a better look at them to actually see what I have. I'm gonna go through some of these other little boxes. Oh, there's an Accutron in its original box with tags, new old stock full of Accutron. 4-hand. Interesting. Set that over there. That's another one. There's another box for an Accutron. Definitely have enough Accutrons to fill that up. Okay. What's in the bag? A whole pile of pocket watches. Or pocket watch cases. Oh, another fake Rolex. Well, this one actually does have a screw down crown, but it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like an actual Rolex. I don't know. We'll pop this open and we'll have a look at it. I don't think that's going to be real though. It just doesn't feel like quality, but watch, I'll open it up and it'll be real and you guys will be like, wow, you just said a Rolex didn't feel like quality. No, pretty sure this one's fake. So a couple fake Rolexes. The only real ones I found so far are the ones that weren't labeled as a Rolex. There's another railway watch. Boy, am I ever glad I purchased all this stuff. Big, nice Walton pocket watch. Imagine some of these probably need a little tinkering in TLC, but that's okay. I've got people who can do that sort of stuff for me. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get everything all laid out, and I'll give you an overview of what we found, and I'm going to finish going through the rest of this. Oh, there's another, oh no, that's just a wrist compass. I thought that was going to be another trench watch. Okay, I've got some work ahead of me. I'm going to get this all cleaned up. All of that came out of this box. I'm going to sort it, organize it, see what we have, and I'll show you the overview. That had to have been probably one of the biggest scores of vintage wristwatches and pocket watches I might have ever had out of one box. Now, some of them, granted, were kind of junky or lower end stuff, and all of that stuff went for sale in bulk, but I got my money back just off of the stuff, the broken parts, the broken watches, so I'm already in the clear on this deal, and I still have this whole box full of vintage fountain pens, pocket watch fobs, and so forth. But let me show you my favorite wristwatches that came out of this collection. I've held them back to sell separately and got some new straps on them. Have a look. This is the variety of watches. All of that came down to just a handful of wristwatches, but they all work. We've got the official Ball Trainmaster automatic wristwatch, the Solar made by Rolex, gold-plated wristwatch with screw-down crown. Now the threads on the tube are a little worn, but is working well. The ARSA, the ARSA movement inside of the Solar wristwatch, which would have been sold new at Eaton's department store. It's a calendar watch with the moon phase on it. Very nice piece. We've got your Tudor Prince Oyster Date, which is essentially a Rolex Oyster Date. It's an automatic self-winding with the red calendar date on it. Screw down crown on that one's working well, just a little bit of a nick in there. And then of course the Tudor Oyster Kent, which is a manual wind, Rolex case and Rolex movement. Really, really nice collection and a beautiful lineup. Definitely looks much better having all the new straps on them. And of course I gave them a bit of a polish to kind of bring them back up. But to think that was sitting loose and rolling around for the most part inside of a box full of other damaged and broken watches, that is a good score. Thanks so much for watching today's video, guys. Make sure to subscribe for more episodes if you haven't already. A lot of these items will end up going for auction at some point down the road. We typically, we buy things like you saw in the video, we sort through them, get it organized, and then it goes off to auction. So some of these pieces will be going for auction for a July sale. Hopefully you guys will check us out again as more treasures come through our hands. And I'm going to have fun going through the rest of it. I got to work on the pens next and get that all organized. Have a wonderful day, guys. We'll see y'all soon, and bye for now.